Away we go.
Don't be alarmed. The quasi-shimmering light before you is a trans-dimensional gateway to other worlds, other voices, other thoughts, and other realities. Up feels like down, and down feels like the number 7 on a Wednesday morning. Don't worry. That quivering, blood-boiling sensation under your eyebrows is all a part of the charm. Welcome to the PCC Multiverse.
And we're back with another episode of the PCC Multiverse. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here for the Pop Culture Cosmos, Lakers Fast Break, Inside Sports Fantasy Football. Truly appreciate you joining us. If you like what we do, please like, subscribe, and if you're listening on audio, that 5-star review sure helps us. It helps us a lot, right wherever you get your podcasts. Plus, again, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff if you can, because it sure helps the channel grow. It helps the show grow. And to all the stations that still have played our awesome shows for all these years, I cannot thank you enough for being a part of what we do right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. But it wouldn't be a PCC Multiverse without my compadre in crime. Indeed, it is, of course, the, how should I say, the queen of Canadian culture that she is.
No.
Yes.
That's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure to put on a girl.
All right. Well, I think your husband would agree with me, but it is, of course, a great person indeed. Check out what she's doing every time out for all the great episodes that she has been on with her podcasting career. It is, of course, Melinda Barkhouse Ross. And Melinda, great to have you here, whether you're there, you're here, all over the place on the interwebs. It is just always great to have you here. Vampires of Vitae, Wild Beyond the Witchlight, or wherever you're at. It's just always awesome when you can stop by as my fellow host for the PCC Multiverse.
Do you want to see the first thing that I have 3D printed that was truly and utterly a solo adventure from start to finish? Do you want to see?
Well, it is episode 420, so I guess I'm liable for anything right now. So there you go.
Okay, are you ready? Look at.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
Look at her. Now, what I don't understand, can anybody who 3D prints, can you tell me why? Why did it offset? Like, just for the face? Like, why did it do that? It's on both. Like, why? Why did it do that? I don't
know, but
I don't know
does
either.
that look very similar as far as the skull is concerned to one Robbie Ross's head?
No, but I think what I have to do is I think I have to get out like clay, and I have to come up with some kind of reason for this lady's face to be shifted slightly off of her head. So I'm gonna work on that backstory today. That's my big plan for today, because Friday, Saturday is my weekend. So that's what I'm doing today, Gerald. Me and this little skull. We're gonna figure out how to make the face make sense. But
fair enough indeed.
I mean, was it just the file? Is the file just tell it to do that? I don't know. But if anybody has that answer, why it offset, I don't know. Maybe like 3 millimeters, maybe that much. But yeah, so I mean, like it messed up like the little. I mean, this is an anatomically correct skull. Let's be very clear about that as well. And one of the supports did break while it was printing, so I don't know if maybe that had something to do with it. But it printed like this. It was pretty cool. Anyway, sorry, that's my venture into 3D printing this week.
It's just like the AI, because the AI still can't get everything right, because I did an intro to NBA observations, one of the shows I do in the Lakers Fast Break, and I edited everything, but I wanted to go ahead and do a logo at the end.
Right.
And of course, it has the NBA logo, silhouette of the late Jerry West, and it has 4 fingers. So, yeah.
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 No, I know that. I know AI is not completely right yet, but let me tell you, it has definitely become my partner in crime. That is for sure.
Well, it's always great to have you here, my friend. Looking
Mhm.
forward to a great conversation right here in the PCC Multiverse. So many topics to discover and talk about. I'm glad we had a chance to catch up. Always a privilege when I get a chance to do so. So we start off this Valentine's Day weekend for lovers, and there's no better movie, I guess you could, that says I love you than, of course, what's going on with Captain America: Brave New. No movie out there says I love you more than that. As far as the worldwide box office, Captain America should do, or looks like after its $12 million in previews, should target around 85, 90, even $100 million over the President's Day weekend. We will see what happens there. Uh, Bridget Jones, her latest movie is being, I guess, shown to theaters overseas, and here in the States, it was moved right away to Peacock. There's also a huge movie in China right now, an animated movie that's already garnered over $1 billion at the box office, which will be competing again on the world stage. But the continuation of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I guess this is like, I'll not say a clean slate per se, but this is kind of like a restart that's leading up to Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars and all that. It is a new Captain America for all intents and purposes. Yes, I know that there was a Disney Plus series with Captain America and Winter Soldier, but Anthony Mackie is taking the reins here for I guess, a beginning, so to
Yeah.
speak,
Hmm.
for where he's going in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He is going to play a key role going forward, according to the Russo brothers, who are directing the big Avengers movies coming up. Your thoughts on Anthony Mackie as Captain America? As Captain America: Brave New World debuts with a Harrison Ford Red Hulk in tow, and even more if you go ahead and check out the movie this weekend.
So I Anthony Mackie as Captain America, I think makes loads of sense. I mean, I feel like they spent time in the movies leading up to that happening. I feel like it was something that they were planting, they were breadcrumbing very, very early on. So nobody should be surprised about this, and nobody should be feeling any kind of way about any part of it. And it just shouldn't have been a surprise for anybody. And no, I think the movie is going to do well. I think it's been long enough since I've gone to a theater and watched specifically one of the Marvel movies. So maybe that's all we needed. Did we just need a break from the Marvel Cinematic Universe for a little while? Where we weren't getting like 2 movies a year or whatever that crazy pace was that they were putting movies out at. So I think that we've had the break. We understand that it's kind of a reset, and I think the movie's probably going to do pretty well.
I hope so. Again,
Mhm.
I've said this on the fast break because I've been asked about it. I really like Anthony Mackie. I
Mhm.
understand that the Captain America and Winter Soldier series, that wasn't everybody's taste. It didn't, you know, map out the course of what was going on as well as I thought it should have. I know that for a lot of people out there, that whole period of time when Disney was throwing everything against the wall to see what would stick
Mhm.
wasn't exactly the greatest time in the world. But now I think that they have a charted a course that's a lot clearer. They are putting back out 3 movies. They've still got the Daredevil show coming up next month, so they are back full and high gear
Mhm.
once again. But we will see what's going on. I'd like it because Anthony Mackie is the hardest working individual in Hollywood. He is
Oh
in
my
so many
gosh.
different projects,
Yeah.
including Twisted Metal season 2, which
Mm.
that just conveniently dropped that trailer uh, this past weekend, or excuse me, this past week. Fancy that. I wonder why that happened, but
Yeah.
okay,
And
that's good.
the only reason why I didn't enjoy the season of Altered Carbon that he had done was because we had the first season. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? I just felt like the first season was written better than the second season was for him
I
in that
agree.
one. So, you know, he is one of those actors I think that you don't realize you're seeing as often as you really are.
He has done a
You
ton
know
of
what I
work
mean?
out
Like,
there.
yeah,
Yeah, since the pandemic, he has done a ton of work out there and has continued to work hard. So I'm giving him a ton of credit, and I'm hoping that his movie does well. The reviews have been all over the place, from not so good to really good. So it's kind of
sure.
mixed out there. So hopefully you can let us know exactly your thoughts on it. But I will try to catch it as soon as I can. And when I do, I'm going to go ahead and share thoughts on the show here. But yeah, again, I just want this to work well for Marvel. I want something going forward that I can go ahead and interact with because this is supposed to lay the groundwork for what's upcoming in the future with Secret Wars and Doomsday and all that. Of course, they talk about in the movie. They've already given away that not spoilers because it's already in the trailers and all that about adamantium, Harrison Ford becoming a Red Hulk. There's other speculation on who might be the real villain in this movie. Just so many different options. It's trying to do a lot, and it's trying to do it just under 2 hours. So I don't know how good it will work, Melinda.
Right. Well, I think it's going to work fine, really. It could be like a chaotic film if, well, I guess I'm still trying to think back to Iron Man, and Iron Man was a pretty simple uh first movie that kind of kicked everything off. Like, it was
It
clean,
didn't
you
have
know
to
what I
do
mean?
as much. It didn't
Yeah,
have to
that's
do
that's
as much. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to bridge things together. It didn't have to tie things together. So I think that this movie has a lot more weight to carry. And I think that that could be why when we're looking at the descriptions and stuff, it just feels like everything is happening in this movie.
That's true. And
Yeah.
again, I want this movie to work. I really do.
Yeah.
I want this movie to work out so it sets the groundwork for a successful run, leading us into the Thunderbolts in May, and then the
Yes.
Fantastic Four in July. Going forward, that's the offering that they have this year. Plus Daredevil. I know a lot of people are excited for the Daredevil Born Again series that's coming out in March. So again, we'll see how it's laid out, but it does seem like it's a more concentrated effort from Marvel. It seems like
Yeah.
it's a more um, it's a different approach. I'm not going to say it's as good as the approach when they had it the first time around in the MCU. I mean, we saw everything fall into place a lot easier, a lot better. Um, but still, I think that again, we're seeing the groundwork hopefully laid out that there will be a significant uh, increase in successful what movies or television shows going forward than what they've had in the recent past because it's been very messy. You and I have been on this show now doing this for several years, and there during that time, Marvel has put out a lot of stuff that's generated some real mixed opinions.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, it really does just go to show that it doesn't matter how great your source material is if folks aren't going to be into the story that you've written. It doesn't matter. You can't really depend on that as often as you think you can. I think they may have had the grace during the first phase, but now we're in what, like phase 8 of the Marvel movies. So we don't get to
Yes.
rely on that anymore. There's no resting on laurels. Every movie has to be impressive.
It does, and especially still because the budget's involved. I know there were
Oh God, yeah.
reshoots on this movie, but we will see how that still lays the work out. I'm going to go check it out when I get a chance, and hopefully, you guys and gals out there will be able to do the same. But I want to hear your thoughts, and Melinda wants to hear your thoughts. Exactly what you think of Captain America: Brave New World. I kind of like the original title, New World Order. I thought that would have been better, but okay, maybe that was too scary for Disney to put that out under that title. But okay, it is Captain
Mhm.
America: Brave New World. Again, $12 million of previews here domestically in the United States. Is expected to do somewhere around 90 to 95 million over the President's Day holiday here in the States. So hopefully it can get off to a really good start. But we want to hear your thoughts. Is Captain America Brave New World, in essence, going into a Brave New World to go ahead and help Marvel get back on its feet once again? Please let us know. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. Well, Melinda Barkhouse and I are back again with the Pop Culture Cosmos, PCC Multiverse. All right, Melinda, we do
Uh-huh.
this every year. We didn't ask for special guests this time around, although I know that Robert Reno, had he made it, would have had his definite opinions on this. But it's that time of the year, Melinda,
Yes.
because the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame did announce its nominees for the Hall of Fame. And I'm going to go ahead and give the announcement here on the show. If you did not catch it during the course of the week, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame announced its list of 14 performers who they are considering for the induction class of 2025. They include Bad Company, the Black Crowes, Mariah Carey, Chubby Checker, Joe Cocker, Billy Idol, and Joy Division New Order, plus Cyndi Lauper, Mana, Oasis, Outkast, Fish, Soundgarden, and the White Stripes have also been nominated. The Bad Company, Black Crowes, Chubby Checker, Joe Cocker, and Billy Idol, Mana, Outkast, and Fish are the first timers. So there you have it. There is the list in detail. So your thoughts on this, because we have gone over this on several occasions out years and years. There are acts that get in automatically, and there's acts that have to wait and struggle to get in. Some don't have a chance at all. Then there's our picks. Seemingly, in some cases, will
I think that our
never.
picks are always the most interesting. I'm not going to lie to you, though.
Yes. So there's also picks by us, which should get in, but never seem to even get a sniff on what's
Weird.
going on.
So weird.
Yes. So your thoughts, my friend, as we go ahead and get into this conversation before we talk about, let's talk about our picks, for instance, instead of just going ahead and go and talk about which ones we think will make it, et cetera, out of the list that's there. Let's start with the fun stuff. Let's start with our picks for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees this year, whether they're on that list or not.
Wow. Okay, that's a big thought. I'm gonna need a second. I'm gonna filter a whole lot of that's a lot of processing power, Gerald. And
If you were to name 5.
This is coffee number 1. So
Okay. All
so it's
right.
rough.
All right.
Prince is already in, so that's done. I believe Lenny Kravitz is already in, so that's done. Is Miss Tina Turner in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
I believe she's in.
I feel like she is. If she isn't, then that's my number 1. I feel like Miss Tina Turner. I'm thrilled that I know we're not supposed to talk about artists that are on the list, but I'm thrilled that Soundgarden is there. Chris Cornell, I miss that voice so incredibly much. That it's any opportunity that I get to see him get some kind of accolade, I'm always here for. So Soundgarden into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame would be huge. I do love me some Joe Cocker. I think I'm going to have to go buy an album this afternoon so I can listen to it on a record, because I feel like that's the only way to listen to Joe Cocker.
He is in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. So that's great. Yeah. I know. She was. See what I mean? Like it's rough because I'll be thinking of artists now all day that should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
And you're going to message me too, Gerald,
the whole day. I mean,
this?
There's like 15 artists right here that I just thought of, Gerald. Why couldn't I think of those at 10:18 when we were recording? Let me think though, because didn't Missy got in last year, right? Missy Elliott. So did Mary J. Blige. Outkast is nominated this year, which would be super cool. Cadillac Doors and all of that. Me and you, your mama and your cousin too. My goodness.
I'm gonna give some popular snubs. How about that? Let me go ahead.
Yeah, go for it. I mean, has Cher gotten in yet? I don't know.
Cher, I don't know. Let me go ahead and bring that up real quick. See if
I think she's been nominated so times that at this point she's
Yes,
over it or something.
she was, I think, last year, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so let me go ahead and
Right.
see. She was last year. So, yes. The worst snubs in Rock and Roll Hall of Fame history so far. I'm going to go ahead and look this courtesy of Vulture.
Right.
All right, do that. That. They've got a long list, like the B-52s, the Pixies, Salt and Peppa, Smashing Pumpkins,
Smashing
LaBelle.
Pumpkins makes sense. I don't understand the first one that you said, the B-52s. I don't think they're
Yes.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, they're fantastic. Please don't get mad at me. I'm not poo-pooing by any means, but Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
In
Oh.
Excess.
Yeah, they should be.
Barry White. The Commodores. That's what
Commodores ought to be, yeah.
Me, of course, I'm going to tell you it starts and stops with the Monkees. How they're still not in, but I know that whoever it is in charge or somebody up in the hierarchy really has a thing against the Monkees. So unfortunately, they're probably all going to die off before they're going to get in. Iron Maiden for you heavy metal and Motorhead.
Yeah.
They have not been included there, so those are high up on my list. Boston, Speedwagon, Motley Crue. Well,
Motley Crue's not in?
Motley Crue.
They're not in? That's
Yep.
crazy to me.
I was just talking to my daughter about this because he hasn't done a cover or a mockumentary cover of any of her songs, Taylor Swift songs yet, but Weird Al Yankovic, who's going out on tour this year.
Right.
Why is he not in? Styx. Yeah, just there's quite a few that are out there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but the problem that I was having wasn't coming up with bands. The problem that I was having was filtering the already in versus not in yet, because some of these names, I mean, it feels crazy that they're not in. Like the Commodores, I feel like should be in there. That's wild.
Well, I'm looking at Twitter right now. Blue Oyster Cult, but there's others: King Crimson, The Guess Who, Kansas, Jethro Tull.
The Guess Who,
But
Kansas,
the one I see is
for sure,
Sting. Sting.
Yeah.
With the Police has been in, but Sting himself has really acquitted himself with a lot of songs out there. Scorpions, Three Dog Night, Grand Funk Railroad, The Guess Who, Marshall Tucker. Yeah, there's a list again for me. It starts and stops with the Monkees. I think that they were, so successful during that period of time. Whatever you want to say about whether or not they played their own instruments soon enough, because they did, and their show was so iconic for that period of time. I just think that they left a mark on history, and plus they were so successful for a brief period of time alongside the Beatles and Rolling Stones. Yeah, I just think it was just a miss by them. But again, there's some up in the Hall of Fame that really have it out for them. Phil Collins. I thought Phil Collins was in for his solo work.
So did I.
Yeah, but one of the tweets says it wasn't. But let me ask.
No.
Let me see.
I mean, he should be in for In the Air Tonight alone, if in my opinion.
Yeah. Let me see.
Who waits half a song to drop the drums?
Yeah, it just
Phil Collins.
Is there anyone else that you think is?
Oh my good. I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm forever going to be a Chris Cornell fan, and I would love to see him solo into it, or even some kind of acknowledgement for his work with Audio Slave would be great. I would love to see. I would love to see that for him. I would love to see that for his family. I'm talking like I knew them. Isn't that strange how we do that?
Yes.
But yeah, no, I would love to see Soundgarden or some kind of Chris Cornell centric something get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I think that would be pretty cool. I would love to see Outkast get in as well on their first venture. I think that would be cool. great story.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Mariah Carey, I mean, come on. I can remember, gosh, I might have been 14 or 15 when Mariah Carey's debut album came out.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like in a very strange way, Mariah Carey has been a backdrop in like a very subtle way to a lot of my life that I haven't even recognized, because I'll hear Mariah Carey songs and I'll be like, what is that? But then it takes me back to like something that happened in life. So I think that Mariah Carey is a little more part of my life than even I'm willing to acknowledge at this point. But I would love to see her get into. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks like Phil Collins has not been put in. So it is what it is there. Okay. All right. Well, Phil Collins, I think definitely deserves it. But yeah, you've heard the list of snubs that are there. So if you, okay, I'll give you 3. If you were to pick 3, where will you go as far as that's not on the list? For this year?
That are not on the list for this year.
Mm-hmm. Of snubs. I'll start off with me then, if
Yeah,
that's the
please
case.
do. Please do. That's a lot of pressure. Yeah.
I'm going to go Iron Maiden, Motley Crue, and the Monkees. Although Phil Collins, if you give me 5, if you give me 2 more, I would say Phil Collins, and yeah, I think that should be it for me. Those are the ones that I think that are the worst ones so far. For me, maybe you could say like Smashing Pumpkins, but I'll leave that up to you. Your thoughts on 3, 4, or 5 that you would love to see get in, or at least get nominated, at least.
The snubs. Let me just look at these snubs here.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Maiden, Bruce Dickinson. I think this is Outcast before Iron Maiden, Mariah Carey before Blue Oyster Cult. Blue Oyster. Oh my goodness, Blue Oyster Cult. Help me understand. That's funny. Black Crows. Interesting.
They do have a pop music hall of fame, but it's just not anywhere near as popular or as big as the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So that's why they
Right.
continue
Yeah.
to put in people like, or at least induct individuals, or at least nominate individuals like Mariah Carey, because they feel that that's covering both lanes in the pop music Hall of Fame is just not that big. But yeah, who would you go through as far as?
Wow. See, a lot of the stuff that I've been into has ended up in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But for me, I think that Phil Collins not being in is kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he has a pretty serious catalog when you go back and you start to look at Phil Collins stuff, and then you go back and you start to listen to stuff that he has done, and you're like, oh yeah, like this guy's really great. And never in my life did I figure that those words would come out of my mouth, to be completely honest. But yeah, no, I think that Phil Collins ought to be in there. And I don't mean for like the Disney stuff that he's done. I mean for like the early stuff that he's done, because there was some pretty great stuff there. Sting as well is crazy to me that he's not in.
Yes,
That's,
I agree.
yeah, that's wild. But it is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, so you need to have some rock and roll,
Well, you say that,
arguably,
but
put in there.
there's a lot of there's artists now in the past 10 years that have gotten in there that don't have a rock background.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying though. Like it is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I understand now that it's kind of evolved more to include a lot more genres of music. And I think that that's a great thing. And but a year of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees without a rock and roll inductee would be quite silly. So I think that like Iron Maiden and stuff like that you need to look at. So I think that all of those things should be considered. For sure.
Once again, it is Melinda Barkhouse Ross along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching and listening. Truly appreciate you joining us right here in the PCC Multiverse, aka the Pop Culture Cosmos Multiverse, excuse me. It's Gerald Glassford, along with Melinda Barkhouse Ross. We're talking a little bit about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So let's get into The 14.
Yes.
Bad Company, Black Crowes, Chubby Checker, Joe Cocker, Billy Idol, Mana, Outcast, and Fish, along with, I think I had that right, Cyndi Lauper, Mana, yes. I had Bad Company, Black Crowes, Mariah Carey, Chubby Checker, Joe Cocker, Billy Idol, Joy Division, New Order. There's Joy Division / New Order. They're the same group. Cyndi Lauper, Mana, Oasis, Outkast, Fish, Soundgarden, and the White Stripes have also been nominated. So your choice out of these 14, give me 5. Give me 5.
Give you 5. All right. I'm going to go Joe Cocker. I'm going to go Mariah Carey. I'm going to go Soundgarden. I'm going to go Chubby Checker. I feel like it's time. I'm gonna go Bad Company. When you start listening to them, you're like, oh, I actually know a lot. And that's 5, right?
Yes,
that's 5.
That's
oh my gosh, I didn't say Billy Idol or Outkast. My heart. What have I done? Or Cyndi Lauper. Oh no. Can I revise my 5?
You can revise your 5. I'll let you do that. I can see you just like turning in your ballot and like, oh well, wait.
Yeah, wait. I would be there all day if I had to do that. Robbie is offended that I haven't said Iron Maiden. So
it's Iron Maiden.
Yeah, he's in the kitchen going, it's Iron Maiden.
It is what the rock and roll.
I told you.
It is the royalty. You're wrong. There is no Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, Outkast should get in. Yeah, dang, that's a lot. I'm stuck on Joe Cocker though. I want him to get in very badly. I'm not sure why that is. Soundgarden, Outkast, Mariah Carey. Is that 5?
Okay.
Let me write it down.
That is. For me, I'm going to say what I see out of the list of nominees that are there. I'm going to start off with Soundgarden. I'm going to go with myself, Mariah Carey. I think just because of sheer number of sales.
Yeah.
Even from one song, which we will not say here, but around Christmas time, you know what that is. Go ahead with that. Billy Idol, New Order, to get my 80s fix in there. So there's 4. If I did pick Oasis, both of the brothers would tell me to go somewhere, and I won't say where, because they actually, if you saw their official response to this, at least one of the Gallagher brothers, he said I think he included a whole bunch of profanities, but in doing so, talked about his disdain for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is, if you know the career of Oasis and these brothers who are just recently reconciled after decades apart.
Yeah. I am shocked. I tell you, shocked.
Yeah. So they one of them, I think, was Noah Gallagher. Could have been wrong. Could have been wrong. Could have been Liam, but said that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame can expletive themselves, and I'll just leave it at that. So yeah, that's typical Oasis. But I'm gonna say for my 5th, since again Oasis would tell me off, I'm gonna say number 5. And I know my friend Jamie Sweet, who is a Fish fanatic, would get mad that if I went over them, but I'm gonna say Bad Company.
Wow.
Sorry, Jamie.
Wow.
Yeah. And there you go. But
I'm going to send you today, Gerald. I'm going to send you a very curated list of Outkast songs. And then, have a listen, absorb it, feel it, embrace it even. And then let me know if you don't think that they deserve to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I didn't say they didn't deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
No, but I'm just saying
if it gave me 5.
if it doesn't bump them onto your top 5 wish list though.
Okay.
Let me curate you a very serious list of Outcast songs.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. We'll do that. That'll be fun today. All right. I have something to do on my day off. Hooray.
All right. Well, I'm just glad that some of these other bands that I've longed pitched for on this show, like Kraftwerk and some others that had continually been nominated but turned down.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that they've got in. But yeah, there's so many artists that still have yet to get in. I really want everybody out there to start sharing their opinion with us. We do this every year, and it's a fun exercise. See, you're even exercising yourself after
Right? Yeah.
our show to send me to justify Outcast.
Yeah.
But if you have any thoughts on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees, I would really love to hear your thoughts. PopCultureCosmos at yahoo.com. Melinda, you are a PlayStation fanatic, or I should say fan.
I was going to say, I do enjoy my PlayStation, but I don't know that I'm a fanatic, but I do enjoy my PlayStation. By the way, I don't know that I ever told you this story. Sorry, I guess it's story time this morning. But I was changing the bed, right? So we were like washing everything, the comforters and all of that stuff. So we throw the comforter in the washer. And I'm pulling everything out and I hear thunk, thunk, thunk. And I was like, oh no. Oh no. What has gone thunk, thunk, thunk? Please don't be the dog. It wasn't the dog. I'm just kidding. It was our PlayStation 5 controller.
Oh no.
That was my reaction. I went, oh no. And not only was it a PlayStation 5 controller, it was Robbie's PlayStation 5 controller.
Oh no.
That I put through the washing machine. However, I just took it. I set it. I probably shouldn't have done it, but I set it on the little charger and I just walked away from it for like 3 days. And I just walked by it one day and I pressed the little button just to see. Gerald, it came on.
Wow.
It came back. It came back. So we still have 2 PlayStation 5 controllers, even though one has gone through the wash now. So I'm just saying it might not be the end of the world if it happens to you. Don't panic. It'll be fine. Maybe throw it in some rice, not on a charger like I did. But our PlayStation 5 controller made it through the washer. So to me, that's some kind of that deserves to be some kind of a commercial or something.
There you go. Absolutely. I'll contact Sony for you on that one.
I'm gonna write an email.
There you go. Absolutely. You are famous for those. But it was PlayStation State of Play earlier this week. They announced a lot of things in development for future years. For this year, if it wasn't third party, they didn't really have a whole lot to offer. Borderlands 4 is a third party. Darwin's Paradox, a third party. Dave the Diver, Ishiban's Holiday is a third party. Days Gone Remastered is a first party, but it's a remastered version of a mediocre game. I know that our good friend who runs Retro City Games, Douglas Hoyobu, would tell you otherwise because he and I have talked for hours on it, but I want to go by the Metacritic score, which has been mediocre for it.
Right.
Even though it sold well, didn't sell well enough for sequel, but it sold well enough for a remaster. So you're getting that. But Digimon Time Stranger, that's third party. Directive 8020, that is going to be Supermassive Games. That one is the first party. I believe that one comes out in October. Dreams of Another. That one is coming to PS5 and PSVR 2 this year. But then there's Five Nights at Freddy's, which is third party. That's on June 13th. Hell is Us. That's, I believe, from Road Factor. That's September 4th. Liza P. Overture. That's third party. Yeah, it just when you look at it, Metal Gear, Solid Delta, Snake Eater, Mind's Eye, Monster.
Why haven't you mentioned Darwin's Paradox?
I did mention earlier.
Did you mention it?
Yes, I
Did you?
did
Okay, I
mention.
missed it. I'm sorry. I take it all back. I
Yes,
put it all back in my mouth.
that's from Konami. That's the
Yeah,
third. That's a third party that was shown off there.
yeah. It
Monster.
looks
Go ahead.
amazing. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, it looks really good, but again, it's third party.
It
Monster
looks
Hunter
yeah,
Wilds, and so you got to remember when I say third party, it's in a lot of cases. In a lot of cases, it's also coming to Xbox or Xbox and Nintendo or Xbox and
yeah.
PC. Monster Hunter Wilds, comes out the end of this month. Onimusha Way of the Sword. Um, that's from Capcom, third party. Onimusha's 2, Samurai's Destiny. That's also uh, that's continuing that series. Shinobi, Art of Vengeance, Sonic, Split Fiction, which is from EA. Sonic, from Sega. Again, Stellar Blade dropped some DLC as well. That's to that very successful game. Tides of Annihilation, that still hasn't had its release date. Warriors Abyss. Again, from a first party standpoint, this is still going to be a weak year for Sony. I don't know if they have a Helldivers 2 hit up their sleeves this time around.
Right,
Your
right.
thoughts on the PlayStation State of Play for February 2025?
Well, I mean, I'm not upset with PlayStation for showcasing third party stuff.
Mhm.
And if their state of play is featuring third party stuff, then perhaps there is some maybe there's more focus on fixing some of the problems that we've seen with PlayStation happening in the background. And maybe that's why they're focusing so much of that spotlight on third party stuff. Could that be like, does that make sense? Or am I just kind of shooting in the dark and not making a whole lot of sense there?
Well, again, if they're 26 and 27 are going to be loaded with nothing but bangers,
Yeah,
it all leads up to. But again, I can't say too far, with Xbox because Xbox for years was struggling. It's only in the
right.
past, 6 months have they really turned things around and have really showed their hand by bringing out good game after good game after good game. They're going to bring out Avowed here in a couple days. They have really got their act together now, but how many years did it take before they did? PlayStation obviously is resetting. Whether it's focus on the PlayStation 6 in the long distance future, we'll see. I think a lot of their hopes this year still relies on a certain GTA
Right.
6,
Yeah. Yeah.
because a lot of people associate that with the PlayStation. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think a lot of people expect that PlayStation 5s to move simply because they're hoping that GTA 6 is coming out this year. And in doing so, PlayStation still has time to not give their owners, their PlayStation 5 owners, a full slate of games from their own studios.
Yeah. I just that's I don't know. I thought this was happening. I thought there kind of internal stuff happening. What do you think? It does feel like it's weird for a minute, right?
Okay.
Not imagining that. It just feels like
Okay.
like if they were a friend, I would be like, "Are you okay?
Hmm.
Has something happened?" but
Yes.
PlayStation is not my friend, so I can't be like, "You good?" But that's kind of how it's feeling to me. Am I
Mhm.
off on that, or am I just
No, you're
projecting?
you're
I don't know.
you're good. You're good on that. Again, it just seems like they're this year is like they're having GTA 6 fix all their problems for
Yeah,
not putting
okay.
out some major stuff this year. And Days Gone remastered. Sorry to Douglas Hoylebu again. All apologies to him. It's not going to do it. It's
Right.
not going to do it. And there's other small stuff that they got on the way as well, but there's just very few big things along the way for what we see with PlayStation this year, and that to me is concerning. I'm still trying to find a reason why I should spend that kind of money on a PlayStation 5. I know I've been asked and asked, and I'm like, I just don't see it. You
Yeah.
got to give me something good to go ahead and bite into. I can get GTA 6 on the Xbox. I can get GTA 6 on the PC. Why would I want to get it for, why would I want to get a PlayStation 5? You still haven't given me a good reason after all these years to do so. I need compelling reason with a lot of backups behind it, and I just don't have it as of yet. So if that's the case, I don't know what the long-term success is for PlayStation 5. I think we're at a point now, 3 years plus in, where they're probably already looking in the distance at PlayStation 6.
Yeah.
But I don't want them to have throwaway years, especially after last year was essentially, after Helldivers 2, a throwaway year from a first-party standpoint for PlayStation.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. It feels like something is incorrect somewhere in there, and I'm not sure where that is or exactly what it is that's incorrect, but it feels off. It doesn't feel like, I don't, maybe this is where I've crossed the line. We remember only one coffee so far today.
Okay.
But it feels like something is off. It feels like something is not right. It feels like something is like lost somewhere. I don't know. I'm getting a funny vibe from PlayStation lately. Even when you log in, I understand the 30th anniversary stuff and the nostalgia and everything, but I'm okay. It was great the first couple of times. I don't need to see more of that. I don't need to hear the old sounds. I like the new sounds. Thank you. That's fine. I know. Thank you. Um, when they started to do stuff like that, I was like, okay, so this is the theme for a while, but now it's just stayed. And hey, I understand. It's 30. Congratulations to PlayStation, but I just don't need all of that stuff forced on me all the time. And I feel like, especially, maybe it was the Diablo stuff with that big update that Diablo pushed out, which really had nothing to do with PlayStation. Maybe that has kind of soured a lot of stuff for us this year. Yeah, we're still mad about it. We still haven't played Diablo. So maybe that's where I'm getting some of these really weird feelings about PlayStation. I don't know what it is. But it doesn't feel right now. It feels wrong.
Yeah.
It feels like something is off.
It does, but again, there's a ton of third-party stuff that's still getting them by, and of course, what we're going to see here in the not too distant future, if GTA 6 comes out this year. But yeah, there's still plenty of stuff that for PlayStation 5 fans to chew on. I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to go ahead and do in regards to that, plus everything else that they could be still bringing out. There's still more that they have announced that could be on the way, or that they haven't announced that could be on the way. So we'll see. Again, I just want a reason to buy a PlayStation 5, and for me, I don't have one as of yet, and I'm hoping that someday I will be able to do so before it's too late and the PlayStation 6 is already around. So we'll see, my friend. We'll see. But if you enjoyed the PlayStation State of Play and what was announced, please let us know. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. But before we head on out, my friend, before we go into the awesome weekend, I wanted to go ahead and touch on Cobra Kai, season 7, I think, part 3. I have seen it all. I have seen the end of Cobra Kai, and you have heard me over the course of many years now laud the praises of the cheese that is known as Cobra Kai. And I will say this, outside of one Uncanny Valley moment, which was cringeworthy, I will say that they closed this out on exactly the right note that they needed to. And they were overflowing with cheese. If that was the case, I would try to bottle it up and sell it out at the grocery store because there was so much cheese that was flowing.
Right.
But I will tell you what, my friend, I am so thankful for it. My time with Cobra Kai, I still thought it had years in the books, but maybe because the kids are all probably turning 40, maybe
Yeah.
it was time to go ahead and graduate them out of high school. So
Yeah,
I'll
those
leave that.
pesky kids and they're growing up. What are they thinking?
Exactly. In fact, I think a couple of of the castmates got engaged to each other, as was announced. So yeah, that was interesting. It's so funny because when you see it and you find out the couples that are on there, because there's two couples off camera that are from this show, but they're not the couples that are exactly the ones on the camera. So there's slight differences. So it's like, oh, okay. Why didn't they just pair them up on the show if they
Strange.
eventually paired up?
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Mm.
okay. All right, whatever. All right. But I will tell you though, Cobra Kai, it landed on the right note. It did what it needed to do. What it started off as and its premise as, for people that are familiar with the Karate Kid series, it was never based off of Ralph Macchio's character as the primary driver for this series. This
Right.
series started and it finished with William Zabka's character, and that's exactly the way it should have been, Melinda.
Yeah. I think that was done right. So there's a movie, right? That they've
That's
announced or
the other
something?
thing. Yeah, I had to tell some people, enlighten some people. Guess what's coming in May? So
Hmm.
somehow, I don't know how, or even if it is truly going to be a successor to this, but there is a Karate Kid movie that's coming out in May with Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan, who's reprising his character from what was the Will Smith's kid
Yes.
version of it. Yeah, that they reboot that they try to do. In fact, Will Smith is one of the executive producers of this Cobra Kai series. But yeah, your thoughts before we head on. Well, I'm not going to be. There's still a couple minutes left, but your thoughts on Cobra Kai before it fades into the Netflix universe.
Well, I think that it achieved and it did all of the things for the people who were big Karate Kid fans or
It
who just
started as
needed.
a YouTube show. Remember, this started
Yeah,
as
yeah.
a show on
Already
YouTube.
has been justified.
And that's huge. I mean, to start as a show on YouTube and make it onto something like Netflix, and then to have all of that success on top of all of that,
Mhm,
is incredibly impressive. It became the little show that could. At least
mhm,
that's the feeling that I have from it. And I think too that once once you can find a way to enjoy the cheese, embrace the cheese, then I think that you're off to the races with this show. I think that if you're looking for something that is a little light, a palate cleanser, perhaps even you could put that show on and be perfectly happy. So I'm glad that there's a movie. I know that I read that there was some kind of controversy or something with it, and they had to defend it for some reason. I'm not sure why. Something about the movie isn't what people expected it to be or something. I read it in passing very, very quickly in the middle of like reading my news during the day. So it was yeah, it was just in passing. And you know how sometimes when you open your browser on your phone and you get like all the little like news stories line up on your Google page? Do you ever get that?
mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's where I saw it. So I saw the headline and then I saw like the first 3 or 4 sentences. And then that's as far as I got in it because I needed to look something up real quick. But so there is more that's coming, and I think that it's a great example of believing in a project, I think. And
Mhm.
I think that it gives a lot of people perhaps an example or something to try to follow if you are going to start producing a YouTube show. I mean, it's not impossible that you can cross over onto a big streaming platform like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, this was one of the when YouTube started trying to put out its own original content. This was
Mhm.
one of the first offerings by Sony. Actually, gave them the
Yeah.
rights to go ahead and do this. And then when YouTube said we don't want to do this anymore because they had other series in the works. Plus, I think ironically, with Will Smith's wife, she had a roundtable show,
That
question
she was
and
doing,
answer show.
yeah, on Facebook,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it moved
Mhm.
over to Facebook. Yeah, that moved over to Facebook. I think Cobra Kai moved to Netflix, and that was it. That's all that survived. And then, of course, Cobra Kai is the only one left standing. So, yeah, praise to everyone involved for Cobra Kai for lasting all these years. And again, it started out as I'll say it again, I am not a fan of the Karate Kid movies in the 80s. I never was, and I probably never will. But what didn't work for me in the 80s, what worked for everybody else, the cheese worked for everybody else in the 80s, is exactly what I wanted in this modern day now with the way it
So
worked
you
out. So
so you grew into your cheese. I'm so
I
proud
grew
of
into my
you.
cheese.
I'm
Yes, I
so
did.
proud. Oh, baby's growing
Yes.
up.
Yes. Babies growing up with the cheese indeed. But if you have thoughts on Cobra Kai as it ends its run on Netflix, which you can catch right now, I caught all the episodes. I'd love to share my thoughts with you or talk with you about Cobra Kai. If you have thoughts on Cobra Kai, please let us know. Popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. But before we head on out, this is a historic weekend. And as my daughter, who is a SNL fan, reminds me that we're going to see a special on 50 years of SNL on Sunday, which makes absolutely no sense why you would put a Saturday Night Live show on Sunday,
On
but
Sunday.
it is what it is.
Mm.
So it is the 50-year anniversary of Saturday Night Live. It has been a great source for comedy over the years, a source of controversy, a source of I guess, our pop culture and our culture in general over the course of 50 years. Your thoughts? I wanted to go ahead with you on that. I'll talk with Josh some thoughts on SNL on the back end on Monday, but you first, my friend. Your thoughts on SNL before we head on out.
I mean, you can't question how that show has been a launching pad for so many people in terms of television and film and stuff like that. And getting to see our favorite celebrities when they come on to host the show and see them kind of out of their element, see them in a different way, has really been entertaining through the years. There have been some misses. There have definitely been some hits. I think that for me, the standout moment for SNL, the one that really, when I think SNL, it's the image that pops up is Sinead O'Connor ripping the picture. Like that to me is like peak SNL moment. That's when people start talking about Saturday Night Live. That's the first thing that comes into my head, and then the cheerleaders after that. So it's a
So
it's a
many,
it's a
so
yeah, so
many
many.
iconic characters.
Oh
Yeah.
God, yeah, yeah, incredible stuff. And talk about a show that is impactful on pop culture. Um, it's a reflection of pop culture. It reflects it back to us, and it also takes the absurd and it finds a way to make it even more absurd, which makes it palatable for us. And I think that the show has always done that very, very well. And the weekend update has the weekend update has always been funny, especially with Norm Macdonald.
Yes. And I'll tell you what, though, it is great to see it still going strong at 50. So we will continue to see throughout the years how well it will continue to evolve and make fun of our culture, parody our culture as it goes along. So we will see. It is, of course, Saturday Night Live hitting its 50th anniversary this weekend, doing separate shows, not only for the show itself, but for the music acts, which again is a great part of what SNL has been showing and showcasing music acts from all around the world on that show. Sometimes controversially, sometimes just to give them a bigger spotlight and catapult them to success. So we will see what happens with SNL this weekend, and I'll have more thoughts with Josh on Monday's show right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. But Melinda, great as always to have you here. Any last thoughts before we head on out?
Yeah, I already have at least half of the Outcast playlist drawn together for you in my head right now. So
Oh
I'm
my
gonna
God.
go. I'm gonna go take care of that.
All right, you do. I'll just change and modify my ballot to include Outcast in already there for you.
Yeah, yeah. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I promise.
Okay. All right. As long as you say so, I'll go ahead with that, my friend. I
Right.
will go ahead with that. So for Melinda Barkhouse Ross, this is Gerald Glassford. It's another beautiful day in paradise right here in the PCC Multiverse. We thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself a great